a baton, and a pair of handcuffs that looked far too professional for a costume shop. "Blimey," Dell whispered, his eyes nearly popping out of his head. "I thought we were being raided. You nearly gave me a Connery. Cassandra." The evening was meant to be private, but in Nelson Mandela House, privacy was a luxury the Trotters couldn't afford. Between Damien running in to ask for a snack and Dell consulting on the phone with Monkey Harris about a consignment of electronic organizers, the romantic atmosphere was as thin as Rodney's toga. "We're going out," Cassandra sighed, grabbing Rodney's arm. "We're going to a club. Anywhere but here." "Very nice," Dell called out as they headed for the door. "But watch out for the real police, Rodney. They might arrest you for crimes against fashion." Chapter 11, The Phoenix of Peckham. The bankruptcy deadline was looming like a dark cloud over the horizon. The £50,000 from Gold Rush was a start, but the interest was piling up. Dell knew they needed one big score, something that would clear the slate once and for all. He stood on the balcony of Nelson Mandela House, looking out over the sprawling concrete jungle of Peckham. The smell of frying onions from the burger van below wafted up, mixing with the scent of rain-damp pavement. "You know, Rodney," Dell said, his voice unusually soft, "this place, it's got a soul. People look at us and see a couple of losers in a three-wheeled van. But they don't see the history. They don't see the hustle." Rodney joined him, leaning his lanky frame against the railing. "They see a bankrupt man and his brother who can't even get a job at a bank. Dell, that's where you're wrong, my son," Dell said, slapping Rodney on the back. "We're the Phoenix of Peckham. We've been down before. We've been lower than a snake's belly in a pothole, but we always come back. Look at the markets today. They're bustling. People want a bargain. People need a bargain." He pulled a crumpled flyer from his pocket. "Monkey Harris has got another line on those personal organizers. Only this time, they've got a built-in translator, 10 languages, including French." Rodney sighed, but a small smile played at the corners of his mouth. "French, Dell, like laboratory Garney?" "Exactly. Mange tout, Rodney, mange tout," Dell beamed. "We'll set up a stall, under new management. Of course, managing director Rodney Trotter. I'll just be the man with the suitcase." As the sun set over the tower blocks, casting long, orange shadows across the estate, the brothers stood in silence. The sound of a distant siren wailed, and the yellow van sat in the parking lot below, waiting for the next adventure. Epilogue: The Soul of Peckham. In the Nag's Head later that night, the Peckhamford raised their glasses. The news of Dill's win had spread like wildfire. Mike was still in the nick, and the pub was under Sid's questionable management, but the atmosphere was electric. "He's a survivor, Ardell," Sid said, wiping a glass with a rag that hadn't been washed since the 1966 World Cup. Yeah, Trigger nodded, his eyes vacant as usual. I always knew he was a genius, even when he was crying over Bunny Warren. I think I'll buy one of those translators. Does it speak, Peckham? And in the corner, near the jukebox, playing a scratchy version of a wartime song. A ghost of an old man with a white beard and a sailor's cap seemed to chuckle. The Trotters were bankrupt. They were broke. And they were the laughing stock of the borough, but they were home. And in Peckham, that was worth more than £6.5 million. As the lights dimmed in the pub, Del Boy leaned over to Rodney and whispered, "Don't worry, Rotters, this time next year." "I know, Del," Rodney replied, clinking his glass against his brother's. "I know." Author's note: this novelization explores the themes of family loyalty, the cyclical nature of success, and the indomitable spirit of the London working class. While the Trotters may lose their money, they never lose their raison d'etre. The Peckham Redemption, a Trotter Odyssey. Prologue: the mystery of the seasons. The yellow three-wheeled van, a Reliant Regal that had seen more repairs than the Great Wall of China, rattled through the streets of Peckham. To the casual observer, it was a motorized eyesore, a relic of a bygone era of fly pitching and suitcase trading. To Derek Del Boy Trotter, it was a chariot of destiny, a symbol of the Trotters' independent traders' empire that refused to die, even after a bankruptcy that would have leveled a small nation. "I'll fetch the suitcase from the van," Del muttered to himself, his voice a gravelly symphony of optimism and Benson and Hedges. He climbed out, adjusting his camel hair coat with the practiced grace of a man who spent half his life avoiding the taxman and the other half trying to look like a millionaire. 'Cause if you are the bestest, but you don't ask questions, then, brother, I'm your man. It was a mantra he lived by. The origins of his merchandise were often shrouded in a mystery deeper than the tides of the sea. He watched the changing seasons of Peckham from the damp gray of winter to the dusty gray of summer and wondered why he was the only one driving himself berserk. Why did only fools and horses work? The question hung in the air like the scent of cheap cigars and fried bread from Sid's Cafe. Chapter 1: The Inquisition. The office of Justin, a man whose suit probably cost more than the Trotters' combined liquid assets, was offensively clean. Sunlight streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the dust motes that dared to enter such a prestigious space. It was the kind of office where people discussed portfolios and dividends, words that Del liked to use even if he wasn't entirely sure where the commas went. Rodney Trotter sat on the edge of a designer chair, looking like a man awaiting a firing squad. He adjusted his tie for the 14th time, his long legs folded uncomfortably. "What's up with you, Rodney?" Del whispered, leaning back with a practiced air of nonchalance that fooled absolutely no one. "I'm a bit nervous